Hi, today we'll be discussing about control and coordination. Control and coordination is provided by nervous and muscular tissue in animals. How do we detect information? All information from our environment is detected by a specialized tip of nerve cell. These receptors are located in our sense organs. Sense organ as in inner ear, nose, tongue, etc. They can be gustatory or olfactory. They can detect taste or smell. Now, when this information at the tip of the dendrite nerve cell sets off the chemical reaction that creates an electrical impulse. It travels from the electrical impulse travels from dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to the end. From here it comes to this part and then it travels from this axon to the end of it. Electrical impulse sets off release of some chemicals. This chemicals crosses gap or synapse and starts similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of next neuron. So that's how the information is we come to know about a particular information. Reflex is some sudden action in response to something in the environment. Thinking tissue consists of dense network of intricately arranged neurons. This thinking tissue is in the forward end of a skull and it receives signal from all over the body which it thinks before responding to them. Now this signal, in order to receive those signals, thinking part of the brain in the skull must be connected to nerves coming from various parts of the body. Reflex arc, the nerve that detect heat connected to the nerves that move muscle in a simpler way. Reflex arc, the process of detecting the signal or input and responding to it by an output action quickly, such as connection, is called as reflex arc. So this is the definition of reflex arc. Reflex arc is formed in the spinal cord. A spinal cord is made up of nerves that supply information to think. Human brain, so there is central nervous system, so spinal cord and brain is a part of central nervous system. They both receive information from all parts of the body and integrate it. Communication between central nervous system and other parts of the body is facilitated by peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system consists of cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves arises from brain and this from spinal cord. Now brain has three different parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So forebrain is the main thinking part of the brain. It receives sensory impulse from various receptors. Specialized areas are specialized for hearing, smell, sight. There are separate areas of association where this sensory information is interpreted by putting it together with information from other receptors as well as with the information that is already stored in the brain. Now based on this, decision is made on how to respond and the information is passed on to the motor areas which control the movement of voluntary muscle like leg muscle. Now how do we get the sensation of feeling full? It's because of a center associated with hunger which in a separate part of the forebrain. Hindbrain, involuntary actions including blood pressure, salivation and vomiting are controlled in this part. Walking in a straight line, riding a bicycle, picking up a pencil is possible because of cerebellum. This all thing. Cerebellum is responsible for precision of voluntary action and maintaining the posture and balance of the body. Protection of brain. The brain is contained in a fluid-filled balloon which provides further shock absorption. So brain is protected by this and the spinal cord is protected by vertical column or a backbone. Movement of muscle cell at cellular level, they move by changing their shape. So they shorten. Muscle cells, by changing their shape, muscle cells have special proteins that change both their shape and their arrangement in the cell in response to nervous electrical impulse. This new arrangement gives the muscle cell a shorter form. So this is explanation on how the how the muscle cell gets a shorter form. Now coming to plants, movements in plant take place in two ways. One is dependent on growth and another is independent of growth. So when it is independent of growth, plant use electrical chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. There is no specialized tissue in plants for conduction of information like animals have. So they change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking. Environmental triggers, light, gravity, they change direction. The direction means growth of plant can be towards the stimulus or away from stimulus. There is phototropic movement in shoots and roots. Now this respond by bending towards the light and roots respond by bending away from it. So shoots grow upward and away from the earth and roots go downward. Limitations of electrical impulse, they will reach only those cells that are connected by a nervous tissue, not each and every cell in the animal body. Once the electrical impulse is generated in a cell and transmitted, the cell will take some time to reset its mechanism before it can be generated and transmit a new impulse. Now, what are hormones? Compounds used by multicellular organisms for control and coordination is called as hormones. They help to coordinate growth, development, and response to the environment. They are synthesized at places away from where they act and simply diffuse to the area of action. We have seen that plants bend towards sunlight, but why does that happen? When growing plant detects light, this is synthesized hormone called as auxin. So that helps the cell to grow. This auxin is at the shoot tip that helps the cell to grow longer. So when this light when the light comes from one side of the plant, auxin diffuses towards the shady side of the shoot. And this concentration of auxin stimulates the cell to grow longer on the side of the shoot which is away from the light. So that's why the plants bend towards the sunlight. Gibberellin, it is a type of hormone like auxin that helps in growth of the stem. Then cytokinin promotes cell division and it is present in greater concentration in areas of rapid cell division like in fruit and seeds. Then abscisic acid is a hormone which inhibits growth and its effects are wilting of leaves. Now same way like in plants, there are hormones in animals too. Like adrenaline, it is secreted by adrenal gland. So chemical signals reach all body and provides the wide-ranging changes that are needed. Just like the electrical signals, even the chemical signals, they reach all our body and provide the changes that are needed. In fact, the electrical signals cannot reach each and every part of the body. It reaches only where the nerves are connected. As mentioned over here, limitations of electrical signals that they reach only where the nerves are connected, but chemical signal can reach a wide range and it can also apply the changes that are needed. Now, adrenaline is secreted into the blood and carried to different parts of the body. The target organ or a tissue of adrenaline is heart. Now, when the adrenaline is secreted, heart beats faster. That results in supply of more oxygen to our muscle. Due to that, contraction of muscles around smaller arteries take place. Then blood is taken to the digestive system and the skin. The blood that goes to the digestive system and skin is reduced. The blood is diverted to skeletal muscle and increase in breathing rate that leads to contraction of diaphragm and the rib muscle. All these responses enable animal body to be ready to deal with any kind of situation. So if the question comes like how does an animal deal with the different situation, you can write all of this part. Importance of iodized salt. Now we all have heard about iodized salt. So what is iodine? Iodine is necessary for thyroid gland to make thyroxine. It is a hormone that regulates carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism and provide best balance to growth. Iodine is essential for synthesis of thyroxine. If there is deficiency of iodine, it can lead to goiter and the symptoms are swollen neck. There is also the next hormone is growth hormone that is secreted by pituitary gland, and it regulates growth and development of the body. So growth hormone can be deficient and it can also be in excess. So if it is deficient, it can lead to dwarfism, that is the person is very short, and excess leads to giants, that the person is extremely tall. Then another hormone that is secreted is during the puberty. The changes in puberty takes place due to the hormone testosterone and estrogen. Testosterone is in males and estrogen is in females. Next hormone is insulin that is produced by pancreas. This regulates blood sugar levels, and if not secreted in proper amount, sugar levels in blood rises and this causes harmful effect. Now there is something called as feedback mechanism, that is timing and amount of hormone released and regulated. How they know how much amount to be released and when it should be stopped, like that. So that is all taken care by feedback mechanism. Like for example, sugar levels in blood rise. They are detected by the cells of the pancreas and respond by producing more insulin. So the blood sugar level falls down, and once that happens, the insulin secretion is reduced.